Well, today we're talking about this Dogwood Customs Echo-7 Heritage. It's a beautiful little fixed blade here. All right, 3.8 inches for our blade length. This one's in an 01 tool steel. Okay, this happens to be flat ground, nice polished edge. However, this is also available in a skinny grind. I've seen it for sale before. 5.7 ounces. This thing came razor sharp. It's still very sharp. All I did was strop it up a little bit. Never had to actually sharpen it. Probably 95% of the use on this knife was outdoor stuff, a lot of woodworking chores. Did, cut up a bunch of recyclables as well, some plastic and stuff, just, again, more or less convenience. I did EDC this a few times. That's why I say 95% outdoor. I don't often EDC fixed blades, but I occasionally do, simply for the review purposes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, by choice, pick fixed blades over folders. I love folders more than anything just because of the convenience of being able to carry them everywhere, every day. Before I got into carrying a gun, I definitely carried fixed blades more often because I had that, space that was open to me. My right side, carry. I'm a righty, so anything at my right hip is very convenient for me to carry. But now that I have a gun there all the time, it makes it harder for me to carry fixed blades. But yeah, amazing design. I really like it a lot. There are very minor things I don't like about it, but it's kind of nitpicking, but it's definitely worth mentioning for review. These are not the original scales. These are actually some upgraded scales. These are called Firefly, all right, which have basically huge chunks of a glow-in-the-dark material inside of an epoxy, okay? And I'll, of course, give you a demo on what they look like when they're glowing in just a few minutes here. But you can see black hardware. Obviously, they are removable. The original scales are right here. This is a natural micarta, which I think is way more fitting for the knife overall. I mean, this is a classy knife design. Comes with a beautiful, handmade leather sheath, which is still very stiff. It needs to be broken in. A couple of years of carry and usage on this thing. It'll be nice and supple. But for me, it's more or less storage, except for the few times I actually carried it. But very well crafted, very well made. But obviously, as you can see it in here, I don't know, for some people, they might not see a big deal, so yeah, what doesn't fit? Well, to me, I mean, something like this is 100% class. I think these knives are extremely classy. The scales are very modern, and to me, they don't really fit, they don't coincide. I just really like them, but when carrying in the sheath and actually carrying it, I definitely prefer the natural micarta, which is just, again, super classy. I mean, you could see it would fit like something like that, It just makes sense, in other words. But personal preference. I do like these a lot. You can see obviously there's a palm swell in the middle here. And I'll talk a second about the fit on these because obviously these came with the knife, so they're fitted perfectly to this knife. And I was kind of curious because the maker had said that, might involve some sanding and stuff. And I said, it's no problem. When I get it, I'll do what I got to do. But actually, it's a really good fit. But yeah, you can see a nice palm swell in the middle there. I mean, super comfortable. There is texturing on here, machine texturing. It's not stippling because they're little bumps. I don't know what you call that, but it's a little bit hard to see on this material. Actually, they're on this one as well. And even though it's clear on the surface, it's a little easier to see. If I could zoom in, I'll give you a good shot of that. And the best way I could describe it, as soon as it focuses, there we go, is it's kind of like the back of an alligator. Let's back up a little bit here. The texturing, it looks very similar to some kind of reptile's back, some kind of scales, Hopefully you can see that. They're just very low profile kind of diamond shape or little pyramids. But it does definitely facilitate extra grip. It's not super aggressive or anything. It's just kind of there. It just makes it not smooth, all right? Which is nice. But yeah, as far as things I don't like about it, there's two things. One is right in here, and it's just the fact that there's such a sharp angle on the stock for the handle. It's not a big deal, but it's just something I noticed on certain knives when I'm using it, is that when you're rubbing on the corner here, it could be a little bit of an irritant. Again, not a huge deal at all, but it's hard because you want a nice flush fit with your scales and that little bit that's exposed there, but specifically because it's right where the finger troll is, there is going to be, skin contact with that, so I'd like to see those edges knocked off just a tiny bit. I know it's kind of difficult. And it's actually not that common that people do that. It's one gripe that I personally have with using knives, because if you're using this hard, you kind of rub on that occasionally. It's not a super huge deal or anything, but just to me, it's something that stands out. Also, this is kind of, give and take. Some people will love this, some people will hate this. I don't mind it. I'm mentioning it as a negative because it's not great for comfort, but it is purposeful. And that is the spine. The same deal, the entire spine has a nice 90-degree edge on here. So when you're resting your thumb up here, you see there's no jimping or ramp or anything. If you rub the edge, it's very much an irritant to your hand. However, the big caveat here is that this is an outdoor knife, or at least that's its main purpose. And having a nice, sharp, let's call it, edge here, or aggressive edge on our spine is great for your striking your ferro rods, you know, flint and steel. Well, not flint and steel, but your fire steel, your fire rods, you know, ferrocerium rods. That is a huge deal for a lot of the outdoorsmen. A lot of the preppers and, you know, guys that go hiking and stuff. A lot of fire making is a big deal, and they want their main knife to be able to do that and strike those ferro rods. All right, so I get that. For an EDC, totally uncomfortable. For an outdoor knife, totally acceptable. Does that make sense? But definitely worth mentioning. Those sharp edges, okay? Great for striking, not so much for your thumb. Huge lanyard hole on the bottom if you wanted to add that as well, which is very nice. As far as the fit and finish on these scales, like I said, it was suggested that I might need to sand them. There's actually almost a perfect fit. It's extremely comfortable. There's nothing protruding. The only thing that I notice is it doesn't, the actual cuts don't line up that much. Like for example, you could see the cutout on the kind of the scale right there. It doesn't quite line up with that angle change. Such a minute thing. Again, worth mentioning, I guess, but most people really just won't care. The most important thing here is that it's not protruding out or anything, and there's no gaps. So this literally slaps right on the knife, which is amazing. This one lines up 100% perfectly, whereas this one is like 99.9% perfect. There's no recesses, no gaps or anything. The only thing was that little angle change. It's like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch off or something. Not even. But, you know, thought I'd mention that for the people who are perfectionists. Some people would see that and go, hey, that's not cool. Most people, again, maybe, I don't know, 999,999 out of 1,000,000 people would be totally cool with that. But there's always one guy. One guy goes, hey, what's the deal with that? I don't like it. So I'm mentioning it for that one dude. So there's a close-up of the only marking on the knife, which of course says Heritage. All right, so I shut the light off here. Just charging this for a couple seconds. Really doesn't take all that much. And you're gonna see how bright this thing really is. That should be enough. So even with plenty of natural light in here, you could see just how intense that is. You can see it reflecting off the back of my hand. I mean, this is very much glow in the dark. All right, I love the fact that they're chunks. It gives it, you know, some depth in there, gives it character. It's not just solid glow in the dark. I really like these. I think they're awesome. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're gonna use this knife at night, you can charge this really quick. Like I said, I mean, just a couple seconds on each side. All right, and this will retain, it won't be as bright for that long. I mean, it'll be super bright like you see for probably a minute or two, and then it'll just have like kind of a dull glow, you know, for a while after that. But I mean, as far as the actual, you know, purposeful part of this, if you're gonna use it at night, you can hit that with your flashlight for a couple seconds, and you can go ahead and use it. God forbid you drop it. If you're in the middle of the woods or something, at least you won't lose it, you know? But it's more novelty than anything else. Oftentimes glow-in-the-dark stuff, people kind of rely on the idea that during the day the sun's gonna charge it and it'll be glowing all night. Obviously not the case, as most of you guys know, unless you're talking about tritium, you know, that's glowing all the time. Charging during the day is great. If you come into a dark area, you'll see how charged it is, but obviously it slowly goes away. It doesn't hold that charge very long, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, super impressive though, with the quality of glow-in-the-dark material that's in those scales. All right, so lights are back on. Go ahead and charge this for a couple seconds and you sight again. Doesn't take much. And we have our crazy bright scales again. Even with the extra light, you can see how those are glowing. But super cool. I just really like it a lot. Again, those are the Firefly scales, and they are extra. As far as the knife itself, about 150 to 160. This is kind of their mid-range stuff. Dogwood Customs do make much higher end knives than this, and they also have some cheaper options available as well. So pretty good array of you know, knives depending on what your budget is. But I really like this. I think it's cool for 150 bucks. I mean, obviously the performance is there. The 01, I've always been a fan of 01 tool steel. If you like D2, you know, A1 and 01 are up there. I actually prefer A1 and N01 over D2, even though I'm a huge fan of D2. But yeah, I mean, it's a great knife. My only little quibble is just that it's a little rough in this area here, in that finger choil. Other than that, pretty cool design, pretty simple design, but it's well done. So very, very cool. I would definitely recommend it for all the outdoorsmen out there and preppers and all the people that love you doing woodwork and stuff. It's another cool option for a custom knife for your collection. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any Dogwood customs, let everyone know down below what you think of yours, what model you have, how you like it, how you don't like it. But I have to say I'm a fan of the company. They make good cutlery. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care.